Well, welcome back. Let's take a little look. Let's save that there. Let's take a little look at our next shot, and that's going to be hand along wall. Okay, and again with the advanced over here, we do have a nice little time code going on here, but just for simplicity's sake, for you, I will be changing our frame to 1 there, and hit OK. V001. Okay, and again, as before, we'll take a look at our footage. Now, this is a fairly tricky bit of footage because we have to deal with quite a lot of changes in scale. We deal with changes in perspective, and we deal with a significant amount of motion blur. So what we want to do is we want to be tracking this wall in here. So now normally I would say start with the best frame and work your way backwards and forwards as we've done in the previous ones. I want to show you one thing we can do with Mocha Pro, and I want to show you it starting at frame 1. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be creating one giant shape here. So again, come to the X-spline tool, come up and zoom out just a little bit here. Right click on the control here, and I can stretch out so all of my points within this spline are now square. And I'm going to come over to my layer now here and call this wall track. Now I want to track this entire wall, so let's take a look at what we're going to be doing. So input channel, luminance or auto channel. Well, the luminance is pretty good. The luminance difference in this is pretty good, so I'm going to leave it on luminance. A minimum percentage of pixels used, this is down to 20%. We've got a huge frame. We've taken in a huge shape on it. So Mocha saying start with 20%, work your way from there. Okay, so under motion, let's take a look at the motion of the wall here. So the wall moves from being around about here to being around about there instead, and also scaling down quite significantly. So this movement itself could be handled with the in a sort of distort corner pin sort of way. So with the shear command available within Mocha Pro. But here's where things start getting a little bit different. Now, we can also turn on perspective. Now, perspective is really useful in situations where you have a flat plane, something like a computer screen, or in this example, this wall, where it's doing significant sorts of distortion, such as the movement that you're seeing with this wall. So there is a very, very clear perspective shift, and turning on the perspective motion here is going to give us a more accurate result than just the shear. Though in a lot of cases, if it's just a smaller amount of movement that we're working with on a flat surface, the shear is going to be absolutely fine and render through a little bit more quickly. But in this case, the perspective is going to be fantastic to use because we've got a flat surface that's moving significantly in perspective over time. So it's doing, scale this back up. So it's doing a significant change in perspective rather than something the shear will be very good for is just where it's doing smaller stuff going in here, or if it wasn't a flat surface, which we will see in just a few moments. Now I'm going to turn my mats back on for a second, and again, as normal, turn this down a little bit